Alrighty, so I'm going to create this video as a supplement to how to share the two documents. And it doesn't matter if you're using PowerPoint, it doesn't matter if you're using Google Drive or OneDrive from our campus logins, but I will tell you, and let me just go over that first. When you're using OneDrive, I did find after I had created the video for how to share on your intro that it didn't work exactly as I wanted. And let me show you what I mean by that. So I had you set up a folder and then I had you set up to share it. And then when you came into the sharing options, the hope was that it would be with anyone. And I noticed, at least on mine, and I suspect on some of yours, possibly the reason it wasn't working, right? Could have been that. But here's what, and I had hoped to do this so that any URL that you shared with me, let me go back here, once that permission had been set, would have been therefore shared with anyone with the link. But it didn't, not on all cases. And I had to play with it and I finally got it to work, but we shouldn't have to play with it. So the way you're going to have to do this if you're using OneDrive is go into the file and then inside the file share it, go to the icon, and now go ahead and select that, hit apply, and now what you can, and you see here that it says, right, anyone with the link should be able to do it, but now I have to hit copy the link address, and as soon as I hit copy the link address, then it actually seems to apply it. So it may have just been a weird step there, I'm not sure. But anyway, now once you have the URL, and this is the important point whether you're using Microsoft, OneDrive, or you're using Google, is to go into a new incognito. And let's see if and this is the test, I'm going to paste that URL. And if I've done it correctly, the user, whoever this is, now the reason I don't have you share them with me directly is there's going to be weeks going forward that you'll be sharing it with the whole class. So I just want these set up to anyone with the link. So there is a certain amount of security because it'd only be with folks with the link. And then after the class, you can obviously get rid of them. Okay, so that's the thing, so, right? So once you hit that, now by the way, if I hit close or I hit get out of this, I go back into my sharing options. I go back into here. Notice it reverts back to the institution within here. But what I have noticed is that when I come in here and I get the link, then I can actually grab that link again for that item, right? Anyone with it. So I think by clicking that copy URL right there, that should do it. But what we're doing is sharing files. Sorry, sharing the permission to a file on OneDrive because the folder just didn't seem to work. And it may actually, I could go, and by the way, this is the point of testing, right? So if I come into here and I click into here and I see anyone should have access to it, right? If I do the link, oh, it looks like I do have a link. So if I copy that, and this is what was not being consistent. Let's go in window. I'm going to go into my tab. Oh, I don't have it open, so I'll do it again. Those three little icons. That's basically more set. You go into the settings. Sorry, go into incognito. Paste that in. And it is showing the contents of the folder, and then you should be able to. And then I say should here. But I noticed when I was grabbing the URL this way, it just was not working consistently, okay? But in general, you do want to be testing that to make sure when you're sharing with me, it works. Now let me give you one additional thing for those of you using Google Drive. And by the way, you can share when you're sharing these on Google Drive, sharing with anyone with the link does work. But I do want to show you a little nuance on here that can happen. So it doesn't matter the file that I'm sharing, but if I come in and look at the file, and this is a print screen, so, right? But what this shows me, the URL, is actually giving me the folder. So when you're sharing with me on Google Drive, make sure you give me a file link. And the way you can do that is come over here and do open in a new window. And if you look at the URL, you'll notice that URL is specific to a file and not a folder, because if you're giving me a folder, then I have to figure out which file, and I just don't want to. Just easier. Honestly, you're making my life easier, but also when you're sharing in the future, you're making that easier. Okay, so those are the two nuances there. Now, let me go back to the assignment. And in here, I wanted you to give me a link to the Word and to the PowerPoint or the Google slide, whichever. So when you hit Start Assignment, okay, it gives you the ability to paste in that URL. But for the second one, you can also just go to Comments and give it to me there. Or you could just give me both here. I think actually probably will make you, like if I would, let's just try. This is, again, it's kind of play, right? Let's go over and do this one because I think this one is a better example. Like I was in here, I grab this link, right? I copy it. I come back here. If I copied that, right, and you could even say, you could preface it by saying, right, this is the presentation file, right? But I think if you tried to submit, oh, it will. Oh, yeah, it will allow you to do. Oh, no. See, look at that. Assignment failed. And that's because, right, you do actually have to put something there. So you can paste it here, right? And in the comment, you can say first link is presentation, right? And then you could give me the second link, which would be to the research itself. Okay. Now again, making sure you're going to share. Do I have the link? And I do have a link anyone can see. I'm going to hit copy. Okay. Come back to here, and then I could say this link. There we go. Okay. You can do it that way as well. So that's how you can share two links with me inside of Canvas. So I know this created some confusion, and I apologize. I don't like that when it happens, but sometimes it just does. Now, going forward, we'll talk more about these presentations because they're going to end up being also your audio in there. And I'll talk about that next week. Hope that helps. See ya.